is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day after the market close. Tom takes your phone calls from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time using the data available at that time.
Let's go to a Bill in Boca Raton. Hey, Bill, what's going on?
Not too much. Enjoying the warm weather in Florida just like you, except on the other coast.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yep.
Do you listen on the internet right now?
Yes.
Cool, man. Cool.
No, I enjoy that. That's in your Tiger TV and everything. I've been watching you for years, and you've really taken this whole programming to a level that's just phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
And now, here's Tom O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 2 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Hope everyone had a great weekend, safe weekend. Let's make it a great week, folks. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. Your best is changing all the time. Your best will depend on whether you're refreshed in the morning or tired at night. Your best will be different when you're happy as opposed to being upset, or healthy as opposed to being sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best, and you avoid self-judgment, self-regret, and abuse. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow up 76, NASDAQ up 13, S&P's up 6.5, gold contract up $1.70, trading at $1,540 an ounce. Silver up 25 cents at $36 an ounce. Platinum down $23 at $1,732 an ounce. Copper off 2.5 pennies at $4.07 a pound. Light sweet crude flat at $93.24. Bond market up 3 ticks at 125.31. Dollar index up 3 ticks at 75.49. The euro's down 4 at 143. You have the yen up 25, trading out at 80.3. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world. In the world of the S&P, let's take a look at them. What do you have? We go back to last Thursday. Thursday, the cash S&P hit the 1258. As we come down into those lower levels, what we did out here, folks, is this, is that we did 1 billion shares, which was going into the 1.4 billion March 16th time frame. So we had already come down from 1370 on your S&P down to 1258. So you come down 112 points. You come into the March 16th level, not enough juice to break it out, which made sense because you come straight down from that 1345. Friday, we ended up doing 1.6 billion shares. The market hardly budged, but it did get into the 1279. Today, you did 1278. And I suspect what it's going to do, it's going to crawl its way up, getting into this 1312 mark. We'll see whether they can make it up to this 1331 mark, but that's the way it's set up right now. That's on your S&P. We take a look at the Dow Industrials. Same setup in the Dow. What the Dow did is this. You're up 76 bucks. The difference in the Dow is this, is that the Dow had got down to a low of the 11,862. That number did not hit the highs of March 16th. Dow right now is up 76. That can get into 12,330 up to about the 12,443. Composite, NASDAQ composite. Now, we take a look at the composite. What's really, what you have with the composite is this. The composite got under the March 16th time frame. That was this past Thursday. That was 2599. We did that on 2 billion. Let's see, Thursday, Friday. No, we did that on 1.9 billion versus 2.6, so a 700 million shot there. Friday, you come in with 2.4. Today, you did 1.6. NASDAQ, the composite, is actually having a tougher time, the composite in general, getting out of here. But I suspect that's also going to go to the 2739 and more than likely get up there into the 2808. Now, all of those, what we did out here today on the NASDAQ composite, we did 1.6 billion. You did 758 million on the NYSE. What is that doing? That is doing a B to a C of a larger ABC structure on the way down. That's the way it looks like to be setting up. If we go to the SPY, if you want to see a little divergence out here, this is what we had on a weekly basis. On the weekly basis, we had come in last week to the lows with 1.2 billion versus 1.5. So you had 300 million shot, approximately 19%. That's still coming down hard. That's the bottom line. Now watch this. This is where it gets interesting. The small caps came down with just about the same amount of juice. So if we look at the IWM, what we did is we came down on 375 million versus 405. That says the small cap's going to be back down here. Now, this is the most deviant. Watch this. The 3Qs, which got the most price destruction but didn't get the juice, and fast price destruction without the juice sets up a larger bounce. So watch this. We came down to 274 million versus 541 million. Now, we're at 5407. Bottom line is that the NASDAQ NDX 100 is something you want to keep your eye on in a huge way. Why? Because when you get fast price destruction, you get under the lows, doesn't hold the lows, the acceleration up is faster than having the same amount of volume going into swing points. And, of course, what we have, Apple went down to 310 today, closed at 315, which is trouble in paradise here, and Google was the other culprit inside there. Google ended up flat, but the Google had got absolutely croaked on Friday, going from the 506 level down to 484. Now, folks, let's go over to our man, Mr. Steve Rhodes. And, folks, if you haven't heard Steve's program at TFNN, you can tune in every Tuesday, Thursday, right at noontime. Exceptional program. And now what Steve is also doing is coming this Wednesday at 6:30. If you want an outstanding webinar free, I'm going to let our man, Mr. Steve Rhodes, tell you what he's going to be looking at and what it's all about. Steve Rhodes, what's going on?
How you doing, Tommy?
Doing great, man. You having a good day out there?
A great day. Absolutely great day.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us, first off, what are we going to be doing this Wednesday night?
Well, what we've done, I filled in for you on one show, maybe Larry on a couple of shows, and mine, and we've gotten some real interest in the analysis that I've done from the Royal Bank of Scotland. So we've created a webinar that's really learning how to master probability. And what I've done is I took the study that the Royal Bank of Scotland performed on the S&P 500 going back to 1928.
Okay.
And they identified a correlation between the full and the new moon and the stock market. And as a side note, you and I get to see the impact of the moon simply by watching the tides in the Gulf of Mexico. We just look out our window, we see it going on, all the time. And all these things are impacted by the moon. Now, the Royal Bank of Scotland study, they compared a buy and hold strategy versus a strategy of buying the market on the new moon and selling the market on the full moon. And what they did was they took $1,000 in 1928, and on the buy and hold strategy, it ended up being worth a little over $63,000 by the first quarter of 2010. However, the buy on the new moon and the sell on the full moon strategy turned $1,000 into over $1.5 million during that same time frame.
That's pretty sick, isn't it?
Oh,
I know.
20, yeah, absolutely. And but I'm kind of like a detective. I don't necessarily just believe what it is that I read. It's just kind of my background. It's kind of my nature, and so. Now, look, the Royal Bank of Scotland, they definitely proved that there was a correlation between the markets and the moon. So that much I definitely bought into. And so I went and took several other steps further. And we're going to cover these things in Wednesday's free webinar.
Okay.
That all of our listeners, they can sign up for by going over to the front page of TFNN. And then there's a link under Breaking News where they can sign up for the webinar. They can also click on the link to get the lunar strategy chart that we'll be taking a look at. And, Tom, the markets had this historic move since August of 2010. And I've identified a strategy that's outperformed the Royal Bank of Scotland by well over 100%. In fact, the trading system that I'm going to be sharing during our webinar Wednesday is going to show traders how they can use a system with a track record since August 2010 timeframe that shows a 70% win-loss record. And I'm also going to show them how they can make just a small little change, and they can improve that system. And that system, with that improvement, it's generated like a 90% win-loss record. And, what's really cool, actually, about this system is that you don't even have to be a technical trader.
Right.
You don't have to know how to use trading tools. You don't have to know how to read charts. So for those of our listeners in the marketplace that are just simply getting started on their investing and trading, and they're just not sure where to start, then this is the must seminar for all of you listeners out there, because you don't have to be a technician. Now, being a technician can certainly help, but you don't have to be a technician to take a look at what it is that we're going to share. So, and making money in the market it's all about mastering probability. And this is where I'm going to share during this free webinar how I'll combine the money management aspects with this trading system. And I'm going to cover the money management piece that really only very successful traders use. This is something that's really rarely taught. And then on top of all of that, we're going to be showing folks how to bring the price into the picture. And that's really for all of the folks that are technical traders. And we're going to show them the different tools, whether it's ABCs or it's Fibonacci retracements. And, the bottom line is that we're going to help folks understand how to get the competitive edge, how to get the trader's edge. And so, if they're interested in getting better returns on your money, if you're interested in doing that, then learning how to trade, and make money and taking action, and understanding the strategy with the new moons,
yes,
the lunar moons, and putting probabilities on your side. That's really what it's all about. And all you got to do is just attend the webinar. You're going to see the results that can make a total difference in your trading life, and that's really what it's all about.
And folks, so as you're over at TFNN, you're going to see under breaking news. First, you're going to see celestial charting, a study in probability, and then you're also going to see Steve Rhodes' lunar strategy chart. Now, what you have here, okay, is that if you can get both of these. What I want to bring up, and this is just, I know I sent you this email, Steve, and it was so cool. So picture this, folks. We know as well as anyone that, whether we're talking the moon, the stars, and everything else, it's like, okay, what are we talking? What is this whole deal?
Absolutely.
And I got an email, and this is a great email. I got an email from one of the Tigers out there. And he says, listen, Tom, I've been listening to you forever. He says, but the last 3 years, you start talking about this moon thing. He says, I just, basically, tune it out, okay?
Yep.
And, folks, then he got to see the charts that Steve had put together. And let me tell you something. His eyes, the light bulbs went off.
Yeah,
And believe me, you want to go look at this chart, okay? Because all this is all about is probability.
Yeah.
And, I had said to Steve, I says, I would love, we all do different things for probability, but the reality is that when you take a look at this chart and you see how it brings the probability up higher, because it's fear and greed. The market's fear and greed. Evidently what happens with the pull and tug of gravity in general, well, it makes a difference. So.
Well, look, we're all looking for strategies that put an advantage on our side. And what you and I know is that what we're really looking for is we're really looking for points in time when our back is up against the wall.
Right.
And, and it's a time maybe when you've got the most juice running through you, the most fear running through you.
Oh, it
if
definitely
you will.
is.
But it's really the most excitement. It's the best time to be able to take that trade. And when price is lining up with this time, folks, that's what they're going to see on the chart. So, look, if you want to do more with your money, folks, then the must is just signing up for this free webinar.
Right, and it's free.
Yeah.
Get over to TFNN, folks, and the breaking news. Steve Rhodes, have a great night, safe night. Of course, we look forward to the show tomorrow at noon.
Thanks, Tommy.
Awesome,
Take care.
man. Have a great one. Have a safe one.
Okay.
We're going to come right back, folks.